Ooh boy. Here I was, thinking season 1 of ReZero had a happy ending. Silly me. Like, I genuinely thought season 2 was gonna kick off all vibes and victory, you know? Subaru and the gang popping confetti after slapping the white whale out of existence. Maybe a lil feast, some laughs, some chill. But nah. In true ReZero fashion, it pulled a Uno reverse card on my expectations and smacked me right in the soul. The first few minutes of season 2, traumatizing. For Subaru, for me, for all of us. Like, what did they do to Rem? Nah, for real, I had to pause and process. I legit thought they just yeeted her out of the story. I was sitting there like, ain't no way they did my girl like that, no way. Maybe it's a dream, a flashback, something, but nope, it was real. It hurt. And for a second, I honestly believed the season would fall flat without her. Rem was the heart of season 1 for me. She carried, she cooked, she cleaned, she confessed. Queen energy all around. But then ReZero did something wild. It said, trust the process. So I did, I kept watching, and bro, it paid off tenfold. Because what we got in exchange, absolute bangers of characters. Garfield, Echidna, a whole chaotic snack. The Witches of Sin low-key terrifying, high-key fascinating. Even the OG crew came back harder, Roswaal showing his true colors, Beatrice dropping those cryptic lines, Otto stepping up big time, Ram holding it down, Puck vanishing, then reappearing like some anime dad. It was stacked, and the character development insane. Subaru and Amelia, oh man, this season didn't just develop them, it reforged them. Like steel in a fire, Subaru finally facing himself, confronting his pain, learning to lean on others, and Amelia, my girl, grew so much. From doubt and fear to strength and grace, it was beautiful. Oh, and the lore drops, don't even get me started. The Sanctuary, the Trials, Amelia's past, the Witches' Tea Party, absolute top tier world building. Like every episode had me scribbling mental notes and gasping like I was watching Game of Thrones meets emotional anime therapy, and the plot twist twisted harder than a pretzel at Oktoberfest. So yeah, season 2, nothing short of perfection. Even without Rem front and center, this season proved that ReZero ain't playing around. It doesn't just tell a story, it lives one. It hurts with you, it heals with you, and it always hits harder than you expect. Alright y'all, today I want to talk about my absolute favorite parts of this season, like the stuff that hit me right in the feel. But hey, I'm not gonna sit here and break down every single plot detail. This ain't that kind of video. We're keeping it personal, raw, and straight from the heart. So let's start with the Trials in the Sanctuary. Man, that whole arc was something else. The Sanctuary itself, basically a place where half-bloods like Amelia can't leave until they pass this brutal, soul-shaking trial. And bro, I'm a huge fan of how the author used these trials. It's not just drama for the sake of drama, it's like a mirror that forces characters to face the ugliest parts of themselves, past, present, and future. No shortcuts, no masks, and let me tell you, these trials are emotional roller coasters. Like FR, they didn't hold back. Only 3 people went through it, Amelia, Garfield, and our boy Subaru. But here's the part that really wrecked me in the best way. We finally got to see Subaru's life before he got isekai, back in Japan. And yo, I don't know about you, but I always assumed he lived alone, maybe cut off from his parents or something. But nah, that episode flipped everything. Seeing him with his parents, especially his mom, and bro, it was one of the most emotionally charged episodes in the entire series. I'm not even exaggerating. Subaru realizing he wasn't a disappointment, that he was loved all along. Bro, I was just sitting there eyes wide, holding back tears like, nah, I'm good. But I was not good. And that final moment with his mom, it low-key reminded me of that scene when Naruto met Kushina for the first time. That raw emotion, that pure unconditional love, that sense of healing. It was just chef's kiss. And yo, if we're talking emotional wreckage, we have to talk about Amelia. We finally got to see her past unfold. And yeah, she failed the trial over and over again, but man, she never gave up. And you know what pulled her through in the end? A kiss from our boy Subaru. Iconic. Like legit, that moment felt like a turning point, not just for Amelia, but for the entire arc. It was romantic, it was powerful, it was anime magic at its finest. But then we get hit with that backstory. Fortuna, man. Fortuna was such a warm, gentle soul. You could feel how much she loved Amelia. Watching her die, nah, that was pain on another level. And for the first time ever, I actually felt sorry for Betelgeuse. Like real talk, who wouldn't lose their mind after going through all that? It doesn't excuse everything, but it makes you understand. And that's what good storytelling does. It hits you where it hurts and makes you feel things you didn't expect. expect. And then we got Garfield. My dude had one of the best glow-ups of the season. At first, he was all bark and teeth, but once we saw his backstory, man became relatable real quick. That fear of losing his family, that insecurity, it made so much sense. And I'm glad he didn't just stay stuck in that pain. He grew, he changed, and by the end, my guy stood tall. But hold up, let's talk about the Witch of Greed herself, Echidna. Yo, not gonna lie, she almost stole Rem's spot as my favorite character. Yeah, I said it. She's that good. Her presence was just electric. Every time she pulled Subaru into one of those tea parties, you knew it was about to go down. But that one moment, the moment that shook me to my core, when Subaru finally told her about Return by Death. Like, bro, this man had been carrying that burden in silence for so long, and in that moment, he just let it all out. You could feel the weight coming off his shoulders. That was iconic. That was real. That was one of the most raw scenes in the entire series. And then, boom, one of the biggest plot twists of the entire season drops. Roswaal. Turns out this mysterious top-hatted smooth talker was the puppet master behind it all. Like, bro, what? But I'll keep it real with y'all. I kind of suspected him way back in season 1. I mean, think about it. He was mysteriously absent when the witches cult pulled up and turned everything into chaos. Sketchy behavior, bro. And then this man has the audacity to lead Amelia into the sanctuary, knowing full well she's a half-elf and would be trapped there. It's giving manipulation. It's giving mastermind villain. But the real spice this season, that mental chess game between Subaru and Roswaal. Ooh, the back and forth, the tension, the emotional damage, it was fantastic. Like, every time they were in a scene together, I was leaning in like, yo, who's playing who right now? And then we find out Roswaal knows about Subaru's Return by Death, bro. He's not just playing 4D chess. This man invented the game. He even went as far as sending assassins to the mansion just to push Subaru to his breaking point. Speaking of assassins, y'all remember Elsa? Yeah, that Elsa, the Bowel Hunter. She came back this season and she was not messing around. And yo, I gotta say it, this chick is crazy. Like, can Subaru please catch a break? Every time my guy thinks he's got it figured out, bam, Elsa pops up like, surprise, time to gut you again. She was the first to kill him multiple times this season alone. Like, girl, do you ever chill? And it was around this point when we finally learned the truth about Beatrice. This girl had been chilling in that library for 400 freaking years, waiting on someone, anyone, because of a promise she made to Echidna. She's not just some tsundere librarian spirit. Nah, Bayako's loyalty runs deep. She was a spirit, yes, but she had ties, emotional bonds, a makeshift family with Ryuzu, Roswaal, and Echidna. That backstory, it hit hard. They were like this strange little found family, bound by purpose, bound by pain, and torn apart by tragedy. And honestly, after learning all that, I couldn't bring myself to hate Roswaal anymore. Yeah, he played dirty. Yeah, he caused a lot of pain. But beneath all that manipulation and madness was a broken man clinging to the only path he believed in. He's human in the most flawed way possible. But back to the present, Elsa didn't stop. She went full menace mode and slaughtered everyone in the mansion. Subaru had no choice but to hit that good old Return by Death again. And this time, the stakes were brutal. Our boy was forced to choose the sanctuary or the mansion. Save one and risk losing the other. So what does Subaru do? He makes a bet, a crazy, impossible sounding bet with Roswaal. He says, I'll save both. And I was just there like, bro, what? Are you even human? But that got me thinking, man, what if this isn't the last time Subaru's forced to choose? What if in the future he has to face another impossible choice where someone has to die no matter what he does? Like, what happens when even Return by Death can't save everyone? Alright, before we wrap things up, I gotta talk about some of the real MVPs of this season. The side cast who stepped up and said, don't sleep on me. I'm talking about Ram, Otto, and Puck. They weren't just background noise, they played huge roles, and honestly, their character arcs deserve a whole spotlight of their own. Let's start with Ram. This woman right here, incredible. In every timeline, in every version of events, she had Subaru's back. Quietly, fiercely, with this unwavering loyalty that speaks louder than words. But her most iconic moment when she stood up to Roswaal, the very man she loved, respected, and dedicated her life to. She confronted him, not with hate, but with conviction. Their battle, pure heat. And when Roswaal finally saw the error of his ways at the end, man, that was satisfying. Like watching a stubborn heart finally soften. Poetic. And then we've got our icy legend, Puck.
The bond between him and Emilia is deep, like soul deep. So for him to break their contract just so she could unlock her sealed memories, that was such a selfless, powerful move. And when he teamed up with Ram to take down Roswaal, oh man, that fight had me hyped. Puck may be small, but when it's time to throw hands or freeze the world, my guy shows up. And last but definitely not least, let's give it up for Otto Suin. This dude went from random merchant with bad luck to one of the most impressive characters in the series. No joke, his backstory, chef's kiss, his loyalty, undeniable. And the way he stood by Subaru even when Subaru didn't believe in himself, that was special. He literally said, "You're not alone. You don't have to do this by yourself anymore." And sometimes that's all someone needs to hear.
And yo, we can't talk about season 2 without talking about the absolute hell our boy Subaru went through. Like, season 1 already broke this man, but season 2 said, "You thought you'd recovered? Nah bro, here's more pain, hold that." The trauma, it was terrifying. Not just for him, but for us. Watching Subaru die over and over, struggling, screaming, sacrificing, it's so raw that sometimes I felt like I needed therapy too. And yet he keeps going. He keeps choosing to come back, to suffer more, to carry the pain alone. But then there's that part of the trial, the unthinkable present. Yo, that hit different. It shows us what Subaru never thought about. That even if he dies and goes back, the people in those timelines, they're still alive and they're still grieving. Like, bro, imagine your friends crying over your dead body in a timeline that still exists. The trauma doesn't just reset, it branches. And yo, can we talk about when Subaru meets the Witches of Sin? That whole sequence was peak cinema. We finally get to see them all. Their personalities, their madness, their charm. And then comes Echidna, trying to strike a deal with Subaru. She's like, "I'll guide you to your optimal path, the perfect future." And I'm sitting there like, bro, don't fall for it, this tea ain't worth it. For a second, I really thought he'd say yes, but Subaru, my boy Subaru, asked, "Would I truly reach the optimal future?" And all the other witches say no. And then Satella walks in, the witch of envy herself, the boogie woman of season 1, the literal embodiment of destruction. But instead of hatred, she tells Subaru to save himself. She doesn't demand, she doesn't attack, she cares. And I'm just sitting there like, wait, is this really her, the evil we were warned about? Because that moment shattered every expectation. It was beautiful. It made me question everything. And in the end, Subaru did it. He saved Beatrice, the lonely spirit who spent 400 years waiting for someone who never came. He gave her a reason to live, a purpose beyond a prophecy. Even after being rejected time after time, even after timelines where they both died by Elsa's hand, Subaru chose her. Not because he was that person, but because he became that person. The person she could finally trust. And when they teamed up to take down the Great Rabbit, that was anime cinema at its finest. Spellcasting, strategy, emotion, it had it all. Oh, and let's not forget Garfield absolutely bodying Elsa like she owed him money. That moment, satisfying doesn't even cut it. My guy proved he's more than just brute strength. He had growth, heart, and the will to protect. And with that, Subaru managed to keep his promise. He saved both the mansion and the sanctuary. A bet he made with Roswaal that felt impossible at one point, and yeah, the crew finally got their shot and punched Roswaal square in the face. Part of me was cheering, another part low-key sad, because after seeing his tragic backstory, his obsession, his broken hope, it's hard to hate him completely, but still, choices have consequences, and Subaru wasn't letting him off easy. And now, Subaru's not just the guy who stumbled into a new world anymore, he's Emilia's knight, a title he can finally wear with pride. He earned that through pain, growth, and unshakable resolve. He's no longer the boy who ran from his problems like in season 1, he stood tall, and you know why? Because he learned to lean on others, because the side cast, man, they carried too. Ram, Otto, Beatrice, Garfield, Emilia, everyone. They lifted Subaru when he couldn't lift himself. This season was a straight 10 out of 10 for me, no cap. Every episode was pure gold, and I can't wait to see what's coming next in season 3. I'm seriously hyped for the return of the witches cult, especially after everything they did to Emilia's village, and of course, putting my girl Rem in that coma. Man, I miss her so much. I need to see her in the next season. She deserves more screen time for sure. If you vibed with this video, don't forget to drop a like and smash that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop of content like this. We're diving deep into everything ReZero Season 3, you name it. And hey, let me know in the comments if you want me to make a video about Season 3. I'll be diving into it with a full review and sharing all my thoughts. Thanks for watching, y'all. I appreciate every one of you, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Until then, keep fighting for the best timeline.